Morning, dear students. It's Hamidi here. Hope all of you are feeling safe and healthy. Today, we will be starting organizational development under the online classes as per the timetable which has been given by the department. The students, as long as we discuss about the organization development under the regular classes, today we will be talking about the organization development practitioners under the online class. As I have said about the organization development within the countries or within the world, there are different theories and different practices which are followed by the different organization as per the policies and procedures. Each and every organization has their own procedure and strategies and policies in order to develop the organizations as per the academic changes toward the business. So here, have a look on the slide. Organizational physicians is one of the practices which is being followed by the different organizations for the purpose of developing the organizations. So once we say that developing of the organizations, it's mean that we are just focusing on the A to Z point of the organization to be developed, not only the employees of the organizations or not other departments of the organizations or other things. From A to Z, the organization must be developed as per the requirement of the society or communities. Obviously, if the organization is not update as per the academic or dynamic changes toward the business with respect to the globalizations and internationalizations, so that organization may not be effective within the countries. So here, organizational physicians is one of the practices which is being followed by the different companies and organizations for the purpose of development. Here, the system of the organization is very similar to the system of the human beings. Therefore, when trying to understand the field of organization development, it might be useful to compare aspects of the field of the organization development to the aspects of the field of the medicines. Obviously, dear students, if a human is going to be alive stably and systematically, it requires some of the precaution to be taken for our life. So meanwhile, organizations, if the organization wants to alive effectively and efficiently within the countries or community or society, so that organization must be aware of each and everything within the organizations. So for this purpose, the organization, if the organization is trying to develop itself within the society, the organization required to have full precaution toward the understanding each and every aspects of the organization. If they talk about the labor, human resources, structure of the organizations, the environment of the organization, so these all things must be considered under the organizational development. یعنی بزی مانا که وقتی که یک انسان به خاطر بهتر زنده بودنشان یا بهتر زندگی کردنشان بر ابعاد مختلفی ضرورت دارند، در عین این حالت اگر یک کمپانی یا یک بنیاد بخواهند که خود را به طرف پیشرفت ساختن، باید تمام ابعاد یک کمپانی را، چی کارمندا باشه، چی داخل بنیاد باشه، چی دیپارتمنت باشه، چی ریسورسز باشه، چی اسیتس باشه و یا چی انوایرمنت داخلی و بیرونی باشه مد نظر بگیرن تا بتانن که چیز کنن، بنیاد را به طرف پیشرفت ساق بدن. So here an example has been given that the study of the theories and structures of the organizations often in a course called organizational theory. And as I said that there are different theories which has been given by the science or academic theories for the purpose of developing the organizations within the society or community. So here is similar to the study of the anatomy and uh, physiology of the human systems. Similarly, the study of the organizational behavior is similar to the study of these, physiology and sociology in the human systems. So finally, the study and field of the organization development compares to the study and field of the medicine regarding the human systems. As I said before, that if the human needs some of the precaution to be taken during the life or for the purpose of having better life, he or she must consider some of the precautions. Meanwhile, the organization also needs some of the theories and structures which is being given by the science for the purpose of developing the organizations could be considered as a anatomy. يعني अगर ما structure एक इंसान را زیر مطالعه قرار بدیم structure خود انسان ابعاد مختلفی دارن که باید او را ما چیز باشیم متوجهشان باشیم تا زندگی خوبی داشته باشیم یا بتونیم داخل یک اجتماع چیز کنیم زنده بمانیم در عین حالت به خاطر پیشرفت بردن یک بنیاد ما تیوری های را ضرورت داریم یا ساختارهای را ضرورت داریم که بتونیم یک بنیاد را چیز کنیم به طرف پیشرفت ساق بدیم. So here one of the theories or one of the approaches for the purpose of developing in organizations which has been given by the science is that job linear perspectives. Job linear perspectives mean that linear is something that it has the entry up to the end point is going to be happen straightforward from the entry point up to the exit point. There is no changes or ups and down during that particular period. linear یک چیزی میشه که از شروع تا به آخر یعنی مستقیما چی جهت کار باشه چی زندگی باشه و یا چی کدام اسپکت دیگری از بیزنس باشه که تا ما بتانیم بیزنس رو به طرف پیش ببریم مستقیما روان می باشن. So this approach is also used for the purpose of developing in organizations, but this approach is a little bit old approach where nowadays the organizations are not going to implement this approach for the purpose of developing. There are other some latest and recent approaches for the purpose of developing the organizations. Let's go inside this approach. Have a look on the slides. Establishing relationship with the key personnel in the organizations, often called entering and contracting with the organizations. This approach says that there should be a proper relationship between the personnel. Personnel means that the employees who are working within the organizations from the point of entry as well as up to the point of ending. There should be a proper relations between the employees within the organizations. If there is no proper relation within the organization, so it's mean that the organization might not be able to develop as per the goal of the organization which has been decided by the top level of the management. If it is not there, so the organization must establish it. If it is established, then the organization must focus on the improving of that particular point. The next is that researching and evaluating system in the organization to understand the diverse functions or goal of the system in the organizations. Under this approach, they say that we have to do some of the research, we have to conduct some of the research and then evaluate that system. If it is beneficial, then it's mean that the organization can be developed respectively. If it's not, then we have to focus on it because our intention or our goal is to develop the organization. So this is the second point or the second stage of this approach. We have to conduct or the organization has to conduct research and then evaluate the systems. If it is going to be happen effectively, then we do have the graph of development. If it's mean that if there is no effectiveness under this system, it means that the organization cannot be achieving the goal of the organizations. It could be considered as a diagnosis stage or steps for the purpose of developing the organizations within the society or the country under the linear approach. The next point is that identifying approach or interventions to improve effectiveness of the organization and its people. Since we discussed that under this approach, the first thing is that we have to establish relationship between the employees within the organization, and the second stage is that we have to conduct the research, and then after that we have to analyze it and evaluate it. The third one is that we have to identify or intervene this system for the purpose of effectiveness of the organization. And the next step is that apply approaches to improve effectiveness The last stage of this approach under the linear perspective is that once we done with establishing relationship between the employees, and then we conducted the research and evaluating the system, and then we identify the approaches we have to implement. The last stage is that the practical implementation of the system which we are going to do for the purpose of developing the particular organization. So this implementation could be done in a two ways or in two form. That first one is plan to change. We have to do some of the policies and strategies for the purpose of developing the organization within the organization. And the next one is evaluating the ongoing effectiveness of the approaches and their results. If sometime it is suitable that the old system of the organization is going to be modified and do some of the changes and do some of the new policies and strategies, the organization can go for the development. And sometime we have to plan it for some new system, for some new policies and strategies which help us for the purpose of developing the organization. So this was the overall, linear perspective or linear approaches for the purpose of developing the organization, which has been given by the science, or this theory has been given. But nowadays this theory has not been used because the practices or the experience which the organizations have gone or got through this approach is not effective as compared to the recent. So let's focus on here that the organization development from the linear to holistics. As I said that, dear students, linear is also one of the approach, and holistic is also one of the approaches or theories for the purpose of developing the organization. As I said before, that the linear approach is not going to be used nowadays because that was not effective as per the result since so long that the science has been given. But nowadays the people are, or the organizations are using holistic approach for the purpose of developing that organization. Under that, the above mentioned linear approach to the organization development is coming under fire. It means that is not going to be used more. Not all the organization development practitioners appreciate terms such as diagnosing, organizations, interventions to improve the effectiveness, etc. But many practitioners now take or system view or holistic view of the organizations. They focus as much as on the process between the parts of an organizations on the parts themselves. The holistic view or approach of the organization development is that it's focused on the process rather than doing some other like diagnosis or interventions or other aspects which we discuss under the linear. They are more focused on the process, practically which process could be useful from the parts of the organization with their other parts. If it is effective, then they can just go and implement it. If it's not effective, then they just leave that and go for the other options for the purpose of developing the organizations. يعني بزمانه که هوليستيك approach یک بنیاد که بتانن بنیاد را به طرف پیشرفت سوق بتن is چیزی است که او زیادتر سر پروسس فکر میکنن rather than چیزایی که دیاگنوز میکنن و یا آیدنتیفای میکنن و یا بعدا سروی میکنن. practically یک پارس یا یک سیستمی را که داخل یک بنیاد اگر برشان موثر بود، میتونن امو کار را پیش ببرن تا بتونن بنیاد را به طرف چی روان کنن، به طرف پیشرفت و یا به طرف development سوق بدن. So here we will just wind up the today class of the online, and then we will continue for the next class with the remaining portion of the course policy. Thank you so much from your kind attention. God bless you. Stay safe and healthy.